In the end, Frodo failed. We don't always talk about it that way, but it's the truth. He made it to Mount Doom. He climbed the mountain. He stood at the very edge of the fire. And then he said the words, "I will not do this deed. The ring is mine." If not for Gollum, if not for one twist of fate, Frodo would have left that mountain as the new Ringlord. But what if he had? What would have happened if Frodo had kept the ring, not for a moment, but forever? Today, we walk the darker path, a path Tolkien never finished, but one he always hinted at. The story of what might have happened if the smallest person failed at the biggest task. Let's begin. Part 1. The moment it almost happened. On the edge of the cracks of doom, Frodo stands, torn, trembling, burned in body and soul. Behind him, Sam gasps for breath. Before him, the fires of Mount Doom swirl in a molten tide. And then, he fails. "I have come," he says, "but I do not choose now to do what I came to do. I will not do this deed. The ring is mine." With those words, Frodo claims the One Ring. It slips onto his finger, and he vanishes. This moment, one of the most chilling in all of Tolkien's legendarium, almost marks the beginning of a very different future. One in which Frodo keeps the ring and leaves Mount Doom, not as a broken hobbit, but as something else. Let's walk down that darker path, a path Tolkien never finished, but one he hinted at. What would have become of Frodo if Gollum had not intervened? Part 2. The ring's final victory. To understand what happens next, we need to understand what the ring was doing to Frodo in that moment. He had resisted it for months, longer than almost anyone. He had carried it through Moria, Lothlorien, the Emyn Muil, and into Mordor. He resisted temptation in Rivendell, in Gondor, in the Dead Marshes. He even resisted Galadriel and Boromir. But the ring wears down the will like water on stone, slowly, imperceptibly, then all at once. By the time Frodo reaches Mount Doom, his resistance is paper thin. He is exhausted, poisoned, worn to the bone. The ring has dug into his very spirit, whispering promises and twisting fears. When he claims the ring, it's not a sudden turn. It's the culmination of everything the ring was doing to him. And from that moment onward, Frodo is no longer Frodo Baggins of the Shire. He is the ring bearer, the new Lord of the Ring. Part 3. A Dark Coronation. Let's imagine that moment without Gollum. No attack, no fall, no fire. Just Frodo alone, invisible, triumphant. He slips on the ring. He disappears. The mountain trembles, but does not erupt. And far away, the Eye of Sauron turns. He feels it. The ring. Not in his grasp, but suddenly wielded. Not lost, but claimed. And he knows. In Peter Jackson's adaptation, there's a deleted scene. Brief, but unforgettable. Faramir, through some vision or dream, sees Frodo claiming the ring. He watches Frodo crowned in black, standing atop a spire of ruin, his eyes alight with malice. This wasn't in the books, but it is entirely faithful to the spirit of Tolkien's world, because the ring does not sit idly. The moment someone claims it, the world begins to change, and Frodo, already nearly consumed, would be the perfect vessel. Part 4. The stages of transformation. So what would it look like? Frodo doesn't become Sauron overnight, but the transformation would happen, step by step. Stage 1. Isolation. Frodo, still invisible, would likely flee Mount Doom with Sam at his side, though even that is uncertain. He might see Sam as a threat, someone who would take the ring from him. Remember, he had already drawn his sword against Sam in Shelob's lair, so perhaps Frodo flees alone, or perhaps he keeps Sam close, but as a servant, not a friend. Stage 2. paranoia, and possession. The ring would continue whispering, not just of power, but of fear. They want to take me from you. They think you're weak. You must protect me. Like Gollum before him, Frodo would begin to speak to the ring, to name it, to cherish it. He would hide it. He would refuse to sleep. He would begin to waste away, just as Gollum did. Stage 3. Hatred break time. 1. Eventually, he would grow to hate those he once loved. The ring feeds on division. If Sam tried to help him, Frodo might see it as betrayal. If the Fellowship returned, they would become enemies. Frodo would view himself as the rightful master, and the others as usurpers. He might even believe he could wield the ring for good, to defeat Sauron, to rebuild the world. But the ring never allows that. It twists all intentions. Stage 4. Physical corruption. In time, Frodo's body would change. Slowly, subtly. His eyes would dim and narrow. His voice would grow softer, more rasping. He would eat less. His frame would shrink. His skin would pale. He would begin to resemble Gollum. Not out of mimicry, but because the ring does not inspire uniqueness. It consumes and replicates. This fate was already beginning. Frodo says it himself. I am naked in the dark. He was already becoming something else. Stage 5. Madness and ruin. Eventually, the transformation would complete. Frodo would no longer be Frodo. He would become something twisted, a creature of shadows and whispers. Perhaps not as far gone as Gollum, but not far behind. He might hide in the ruins of Mordor, or flee into the mountains, or follow the ring's call toward Barad-dûr. Would he face Sauron directly? Unlikely. The Dark Lord's power was too great, but Sauron might see him, might try to seduce him, might offer him a place by his side, as he once did to Saruman. Frodo, believing himself a master, would become a pawn. Part 5. Could he have become the new Dark Lord? A common question. If Frodo had kept the ring, would he have become a new Dark Lord? The answer is no. Not in the sense that he would raise armies and build towers. The ring was made for Sauron. Only he could unlock its full potential. Others, like Frodo, Boromir, Galadriel, would be corrupted by it, not empowered in the same way. Frodo would not become a god. He would become a vessel of evil, a beacon for Sauron, a twisted soul ruled by fear, hunger, and despair. He might imagine he was in control, but he never truly would be. Part 6. Tolkien's Mercy. Here's the part that hurts and reveals the heart of Tolkien's message. Frodo was always going to fail at the end. Tolkien wrote that no one, no mortal, could willingly throw the ring into the fire, not after carrying it so far. Frodo needed help, and he got it from the most unlikely source. Gollum. By biting the ring from Frodo's finger, Gollum completed the task. Not out of goodness, but out of desire. In Tolkien's eyes, it was not strength that saved the world. It was mercy. Mercy shown to Gollum. Mercy that Frodo showed at Emyn Muil. Mercy that Bilbo showed decades before. Had Gollum not lived, Frodo would have fallen, and the world would have followed. Part 7. The echo of what might have been. Even after his return to the Shire, Frodo is not whole. He bears the ring's scar. He cannot rest. He cannot find joy. He cannot stay. He leaves Middle-earth because the shadow lingers. This is what makes the idea of Frodo keeping the ring so terrifying, because even in the timeline we know, he was only a heartbeat away from falling forever. And had he taken that step, he might have become another Gollum, or worse, a wraith, a ghost that walks in shadow, clutching the thing that ruined him, whispering to it, calling it precious. Part 8. Why this matters. This isn't just a thought experiment. It's the heart of Tolkien's story. We are all Frodo. We all bear some burden, some temptation. And sometimes we all fail. But what matters is what happens next. Mercy, forgiveness, fellowship. Tolkien didn't write a story where the hero wins because he's stronger. He wrote a story where the hero is saved by the compassion he showed to someone else, even someone as far gone as Gollum. That's what saved Frodo, and that's what saved Middle-earth. Because if Frodo had kept the ring, it wouldn't have just destroyed him. It would have taken everything. Thank you for sitting by the fire at Campfire Dúnedain. If this tale stirred something in you, if it made you wonder how close we all come to shadow, then give this story a light and share it with a fellow wanderer. There are still more roads to walk, more rings to unmake, and more forgotten corners of Middle-earth to explore. Until next time, keep your feet light, your heart steady, and remember, even the smallest person can change the course of the future, or almost change it.